Okay guys, I'm going to try and make a video on rotary hoeing. I'm crouched here on the shade tree getting ready to head out. Crouched here next to the tractor trying to get out of the wind. The wind's blowing horribly today in Kansas. The wind blows an awful lot, but I wanted to talk about two things here. I'm going to pull you right up on my rotary hoe spoons, and I want you to look at the condition of the spoons. See how it has wings on it. The wear on this rotary hoe is minimal. So those wings on the spoons are very important because that's going to give you your soil action. You notice I haven't used the rotary hoe yet this year. The heat has come back. The field that we're going to, we are at day 9 on it. The emergence issues were not great because of the crazy heat. 3 days ago we had a rain, had 1.5 inches, which managed to bring a few more beans, and so that's why I had delayed. You know, ideally if you were rotary hoeing and your emergence conditions were good, you'd be there day 7 or 8. I've delayed a day, and I was debating whether to delay another day, but we're gonna try it this evening here. The other thing, it's bastardly hot. Hope YouTube doesn't edit the video for that, but it's hot. Today it hit 98 degrees here. So I've waited. It's about 5 o'clock, and I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna do one of the small fields on the hill. They dry out. Tomorrow I will probably be in between combine and wheat. You know, I'll be rotary hoeing from like 11 to 1 and then have a quick lunch and go combine wheat. So the hill that we're going on, we're at day 9. Had the rain 3 days ago, day 6. There's a little crust. Had a pretty good flush of pigweed, red root pigweed. There's quite a few foxtails out there. They're not giant foxtails on the hill. They're green or yellow foxtails, but they are still small and they are embedded in the crust. And so when the crust flies, those little bitty foxtails will die. So let's go up to the field. Okay guys, a couple of things that I forgot to say when we were under the tree there. I talk about not liking the rotary hoe, that my preference is the Danish tine. So the reason we're up on the hill here, we had the dry conditions and I was trying to hoard the moisture, and so I crowded that first planting interval. I knew that the heat was coming, and so you're just trying to deal with the circumstances. Well, the circumstances that we got is that our stand is thin because of emergence issues with the heat. And when I planted close and tight to that interval, there are pigweeds out here and they're water hemp. Not too bad on this. They're a lot worse on the bottom. But we have weeds in the row that are almost running with the beans. You know, I always talk about the height differential. Well, if you have a good planting interval and good emergence, your beans or whatever crop you're planting gets a height interval which you can clean up with the Danish tine. In a circumstance like this where I planted the field a hair wet and the beans do not have utter domination in the row, I'm coming along with the rotary hoe to attempt to clean it up. The other thing I forgot to mention under the tree is level your hitch. The rotary hoe, when it's down the ground, you need to level your hitch, and you also need to make sure you've leveled your machine side to side. This is a John Deere 400 rotary hoe. The reason you level your hitch is by leveling your hitch and making the hoe perpendicular to the ground, you put the right amount of tension on the springs. If you have the hitch rocked back, you're putting too much pressure on your springs. You know, you're putting the weight of the implement on your springs. And obviously in these rigid situations, you want to allow the machine to flex as much as possible. Last thing before I get started here is the speed. I'm going to be running in second gear on this tractor, so my speed range is 6 to 10 miles an hour. And I'll give the phone to Deborah and she can film a little bit behind the tractor. Okay guys, so there's not as much dust here as you would think. I would like to see more dust here, but I'm not seeing more dust because we had that rain here a couple days ago. So I'm right on the verge of doing this a little bit too wet and packing this ground down and bringing on that flush of foxtail that I talked about. If you rotary hoe too wet, you can bring on another, pack the ground down and bring on another horrible flush of foxtail. I'm going to grab another gear here and I'm going to speed up even more. And now we're running about 9 miles an hour. That is the action that I like to see the rotary hoe doing. Like a lot of cultivation things, I'm coming to a corner here and I'm going to slow down. I took a little bit of weight off my rotary hoe there and I turned a 90-degree corner. And then I'm off again. So ideally it could be a little bit dustier than this, but this whole year it's been a real experience in dealing with difficult stuff. And so because of this heat, I am running a little bit earlier. I probably would have waited another day, but because of the wheat harvest and the amount of ground I have to cover, I'm going to push this hill. This hill was the first thing I planted, and so it's the first thing that I'm going to hoe. If you're looking back there, you're seeing little itty bitty clods flying up. I'm looking in my mirrors and I'm seeing little clods. Well, those are pieces of the crust. And the weeds that I'm talking about, the little water hemps and the little smart weeds, they're embedded in those pieces of crust, and they are the ones that are flying. You need to let your hitch float a little bit. There I turned another corner. I slowed down on the corners and I left. I do not have my stabilizer bar arms locked, but I am only allowing them about 4 inches of shift side to side. So when I come to a corner, you need to keep moving and you lift up just a little bit so that you're not putting side pressure on your rotary hoe. And then when you get into a straight part of the field like this, I'm going to grab another gear and we're going to really move. Now we're running at about 10 miles an hour. So the reason I grabbed the gear there, guys, is because that is a foxtail patch. And I'm not a big fan of foxtail. Okay, coming to another corner, slowing down a gear, and now we're going to jump over terraces. It's probably so obscured from the dirt that you're having a hard time seeing. Never show them the front shot here of what I'm looking at. So this is one of those things where you kind of just got to know where you're driving. You got to have experience on the tractor, and you can't spend a whole lot of time looking back, because obviously if I deviate from the wheels and run over these little beans, I can damage them pretty quick like. So there's a rotary hoeing video, guys. I will try and make another one in the bottom fields where we have the long straight rows and it's easy to do and easy to see. And there is the row. I'll grab the camera from Deborah. There is the row that is done. I'm seeing a little bit of damage. A few of the beans that were just hooking through, and I am a hair wet. I can tell that by looking out here that I'm seeing some black moisture. Ideally, I would not see any black moisture. But I'm probably going to put my head down. And just keep going on this hill ground. The temperature is so hot over the next 5 days that I bet even the foxtail will have a hard time germinating. So the bringing on another flush of foxtail is probably not a huge concern for me right now. Thanks, guys.